Hey everybody, happy Friday. Welcome into Business Salad. I'm your host, Steph, and I am joined today by the amazing Dr. Anusha Khan with Mosaic Theory M.D. She is going to drop some knowledge bombs on you today. I can't wait to dive in. Doctor, how you doing today?
I'm doing well, Steph. Thank you so much for having me on the show. Hi, everybody.
Hi, everybody. Yes, thank you so much to the internet out there for joining us today on your Friday lunch break. So let's just jump in because we've got so much to cover. I'm so excited. So,
Yes.
Doctor, tell us a little bit about yourself personally.
Okay. All right. So, like Steph said, I'm Dr. Anusha Khan. I'm actually a Northern Virginia native. I was born in, as I've gone along, I've realized there's less people that are from Northern Virginia than the people that have moved into the state. But I was born in Fairfax and grew up mostly in the Fairfax County, but now I'm in Loudoun. My family's here, always been here. The only time I've been away from the place has been for about maybe about 7 to 8 years with education, training, and whatnot. When I was younger, I wanted to be one of those people that I'm like, I'm going to go as far away from this place as possible. And there's so much world out there. And then you realize, no, Northern Virginia is awesome. So.
Oh my gosh, I love that. And being new to the area, I agree. I definitely think it's awesome. I was that person in Vegas where I was like, I need to get out of here, but I don't see myself ever going back. Sorry, Vegas.
Northern Virginia welcomes you. Like during the time when I was in med school and residency and whatnot, I'd meet people from all over the place. So I found myself convincing other people to come to Northern Virginia and settle down. And I'm like, you have never found, like, it's very different. It's the best of both worlds. You have the city life, you have the country life, you have wineries. I mean, it's just, you can't get anything better than that. It's the best of all worlds.
I agree. Yeah, actually, just recently we trekked on up to Frederick, Maryland, and we were checking out the Mount Olivet. I hope I said that properly. Cemetery. There's a couple of breweries up there, a distillery. It was great. You can't do anything like that in Vegas. There's a lot to do on the Strip, but nothing that's just that cool and relaxed, and it's just awesome. So
that's awesome. What brought you from Vegas to here?
Family. All of my family is back here. Yes.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
What Vegas then?
Well, I was born and raised in Vegas, so spent almost 40 years there, and then both of my parents passed away, and that was really my last tie to the city. And I told my husband I want to go back east, and so he made it happen in a very short period of time. So kudos to Ron.
Awesome. Well, welcome to the East.
Thank you so much. So now, as we're talking, you mentioned your education and you mentioned all of that. Have you always wanted to be a doctor?
Actually, I am not one of those people that were 5 years old and knew that they were going to be a doctor. That realization was a lot more deliberate for me. Actually, being a doctor is a second career for me. When I initially graduated from college, I did a bachelor's in clinical laboratory science. And so that's clinical lab work. And I mean, I've always been a nerd. I've always loved science and I've loved, how things work. And initially I thought I was going to be in bioengineering, but didn't quite realize that bioengineering was called bioengineering. And to keep the story short, I ended up in clinical lab science thinking it was bioengineering. At that time, I didn't have the guidance that I would have needed to kind of make that distinction. But everything happens for a reason, that I did still love what I was doing at that time. But then one day I go into the lab and I have, I think about 1,000 or maybe not 1,000, maybe I'm exaggerating. Maybe it was a few hundred. That I had a few hundred samples sitting in front of me and I'm looking at them and I'm like, this cannot be it. This cannot be my life. That there has to be something more. And I've always been a social person in regards to, relating to people. I'm not a social person in the sense that I don't go out partying. I don't have a ton of friends. I'm not a socialite, but I enjoy working with people. I enjoy, making a difference that's tangible in people's lives. So the next, natural step, because I was thinking that way, the next natural step was, hey, why not go into medicine? And then things snowballed on their own. And I always look at becoming a doctor as a stepping stone to what I want to do, that it's not the penultimate of what I've become, that it's just something that I needed to become to do so much more that I want to do.
Got it. Oh my gosh, Anusha, you are an impressive woman, I have to say. Oh my goodness.
Give me blush.
Don't start that. We talked about that.
Right. No crying.
The audience out there knows I'm quick with the waterworks. Okay. So now tell me a little bit about the name of your practice, Mosaic Theory. That is beautiful. And it's a name when, honestly, when you hear it, you don't think doctors. So can you tell me a little bit about that?
Yeah, no. And the biggest thing is we want it to be different. We're breaking out of the traditional mold of how people view, medicine and medical care, especially primary care. So we did that on purpose, but we wanted our name to resonate with what our purpose is and what we want to convey. So, a mosaic, you might know, is kind of like a painting that's made up of little pictures or little tiles of different colors and whatnot. Put together, it makes up a whole big picture. But you might miss the picture if you're just looking at those tiles or those little paintings. So, medicine is that way. People are that way, right? People are not just one part of anything. People are made up of all different parts of themselves, meaning, mental, physical, emotional. Same thing with our specialty of internal medicine, that internal medicine encompasses all kinds of subspecialties, meaning during our training, we're actually learning and rotating. So after the 4 years of medical school, the 3 years of specialty training that we do, those years are spent in rotating with psychiatrists, kidney doctors, lung doctors, GI doc, meaning, stomach doctors, rheumatologists, dermatologists. So all of that encompasses what internal medicine is. So in our minds, it's like all of these little organs interconnected make up a big picture that an internist takes care of. You are your patient's referee and you're your patient's quarterback. But if you just siloed yourself into that one specialty, you might miss the big picture of who the person is, hence the mosaic of the person. So theory comes from the fact that our theory was that, hey, if we looked at people as whole and how they're interconnected and how things as far as diseases or pathologies are going on interconnected with them, that we might be able to better take care of people more holistically and that our outcomes would be much better. So hence Mosaic Theory, and then MD because both of us are MDs. So
go figure. Oh my gosh, that story gave me chills, really, because I don't think I've ever heard a doctor talk so caringly and, to use your own word, holistically about a person. And I've had the misfortune to deal with quite a few doctors in my short 38 years of life. They didn't have anything to do with me, but yeah, you are definitely one of a kind, or you and your partner, you are together one of a kind. I love that. Oh my gosh.
Words. I appreciate that a lot.
Absolutely. And so now I've got to ask, and I know that you've got patient confidentiality and some other things that you have to take into consideration when you answer this question, and I hope it doesn't throw you, but what is the best story to date in your career? It can be a med school story, it can be an internship story, it can be a residency story. I don't care what it is. Just what's the best story you've got?
Well, there's some appropriate ones. There's some inappropriate ones. I don't know.
Go with whatever just strikes your fancy. We've got all adults watching here, as far as I know.
Well, okay. How much time do we have?
Girl, just talk. You're good.
All right. So, I mean, that's sentimental, but maybe I'll probably skip that story, maybe, because I had a favorite patient, and he gets me sentimental all the time. But how about I tell you a story that doesn't involve a patient per se, but involves what ends up happening to you as a physician in training with the sleep deprivation and that it puts on your mind.
I would love it.
Okay, so, and I still chuckle at this. Okay, so when you're going through residency training, there's, like I said, different rotations that you do, right? ICU, critical care, is one of them. Now, in my program, the critical care rotation involved overnight calls. That meant that every time that you were on call, you were awake for more than 32 hours at a time. So you can imagine when you're doing that kind of back to back to back that you'd be super sleep deprived, which means your mind starts playing tricks on you, right? So one time after I get off of my 32-hour shift, I'm like, okay, I'm hungry. I need some food in me and I need to go to bed. I go to this nearby deli next to the hospital. And I go in, I place in my order. And for the life of me, I'm standing there wondering, staring at this dude, why isn't he giving me my sandwich? He's there cleaning the counters, looking at me all suspiciously, staring at me like, I'm going to kill him or something, and then would go about doing other work. And I'm thinking, I just placed my order. Why isn't this guy giving me my sandwich? And I'm patient. I give people the benefit of the doubt. I'm patient. I'm standing there. And it dawns on me, the sandwich is in the bag in my hand. And I have no recollection of paying him, taking the bag, and getting my sandwich. So the realization dawned on me. And then I realized this poor man is probably thinking, what is wrong with this woman? Why is she standing here staring at me? He had already done the work. He had already wrapped it up. I had already paid him. He had given me the bag. And honestly, I have no recollection of it. It's like time I lost time. And it's like your brain plays tricks on you. Anyway, so needless to say, I never went back to that deli ever again. So
that's hilarious and mortifying all at the same time. At least he didn't call the cops on you and say, I'm pretty sure I have somebody under the influence in the shop.
That's probably what he thought. I mean, he's just wiping the countertop, looking at me like, why is this girl still here? And I'm just seething. Why isn't he giving me my darn sandwich?
You're okay. Oh my gosh, give the woman her damn sandwich. Oh my gosh. That's hilarious. I love it. That's a great story. And honestly, I had no idea that you guys did all of those different rotations.
Oh, yeah.
With all of those different specialties. And I think you always hear that doctors are sleep deprived, or, you guys, you do a lot, you give a lot. You're like, the cops and firefighters, you guys are constantly giving, and that's a lot of output. And I didn't realize that even in training, it's like SEAL training. They're like, we're going to exhaust you. We're going to strip you down and we're going to build you up.
That's actually what it is. The idea is, and I know, there's debates that it's not, humane, it's not sane, whatnot. But the idea behind it is that you want to get as much experience in as possible, which means if you're at home or if you're sleeping, then you're missing those cases. Because in medicine, you learn in real time. There's only so much you can learn from books. You have to learn in real time. And if you're sleeping or if you're at home, you're missing the cases that are coming in. So, something can be said about that. And then the idea is that if you can perform at your very best at, your worst level of exhaustion, then imagine what you could do when you do have the time and you do have the capability. So internal medicine is beautiful that way. And that's why I love the specialty. I never ended up subspecializing to become, a heart doctor or a lung doctor, that I wanted to stay an internist, because I think too few people realize in this country how important primary care is. And in other countries, they understand that, primary care is up here. Everything else is like, okay, well, you need that specialty, you go get a consult and you come right back to your primary. But in our country, when we're trying to get in to see our primary, and all they end up having to do is write you a referral, a prescription, and send you over to some other doctor, I can understand why people start viewing us that way. And that's why we're changing it up.
Yes. And so now what you need to do is explain to the audience out there, because I'm guessing a lot of them don't know, what exactly is DPC?
Awesome. Yeah, no, I can definitely do that. DPC stands for direct primary care. So what does that mean, right? Direct primary care is basically putting patient-focused medicine back at the center. That's how it used to be years ago. And most people, unfortunately, of our generation probably don't even recognize it. It's our parents or grandparents' generation that remember it. It's basically prioritizing doctor and patient relationship and focusing on that, because that's the most important thing first and foremost. Everything else that has kind of gunked up our system, with intermediaries, health insurance dictating care of what you can and cannot do, what imaging you can and cannot get, what treatment you can and cannot get. All of that kind of just gets thrown out. It's just the patient and the doctor, hence direct primary care.
Yes, absolutely. And now tell me, and actually I have to real quick before I ask this next question, tell you about a TikTok I saw. And that reminded me of it because the doctor is there and he's playing both parts and he's talking about, I spent my day, he was dealing with the insurance companies, getting the pre-approvals, doing all that. And the other person's like, I don't understand. And he's like, well, I have to get approval from the insurance company before I can perform the procedure. And they're like, so the insurance company's practicing medicine? And he's like, well, no. And then as the conversation keeps going, by the end, he was like, yeah. Because heaven forbid it's the best thing for the patient according to the doctor. But if the unlicensed person on the other end, well, they're licensed in insurance, but they're not a doctor, it says, no, they don't really need that. It's fine. What happens? They don't get the care. And that can cause a huge spiral, right?
Exactly. You just hit the nail on the head I cannot tell. I mean, we could probably talk for hours till the cows come home. That is one of my things that really bother me, because you have, just like you said, companies that don't have the qualification, are not doctors, denying or altering care for patients that their doctor is prescribing to them. I mean, just yesterday, I was trying to get a medication for weight loss for a patient of mine, and there's so much time that you spend with prior authorizations and getting the insurance companies on the phone, talking to people who have no medical background, and then to be told that, no, we are not covering this medication, so find an alternative. And it just boggles my mind that, and all of this work that we're doing, by the way, we don't get paid for, even in the traditional system. You have to make all of this work while seeing 30 patients a day, making the man money.
That's crazy. So now tell everybody what it is that's different between the DPC system that you have and then the traditional doctor's office type scenario.
Yeah, no, that's a great question. So in the DPC model, this is the way I describe it. Imagine unlimited visits to the doctor. Imagine no copays, no deductibles. Imagine same day, next day visits. Imagine coming into the office and having minimal to no wait time in the waiting room. Imagine being taken immediately into the clinical room. Imagine having a question and actually being able to call or text the doctor directly. Imagine not having to worry about Googling your symptoms or going to urgent care or ER, actually having a doctor in your pocket, calling them up and be like, hey, doc, I know you because you treat me on a daily basis, and this is my problem. Oh, you can actually answer this question right away? Yeah. That all happens in direct primary care. So in our practice, in a membership-based model, in $109 per month, we're able to do all of that, including certain labs that we do in the office, certain procedures that we do in the office. And because this monthly membership is supporting our practice, we're actually able to have equipment, be able to have safety measures, be able to keep the lights on. All of that sustains the practice. And we're able to make relationships with vendors for labs and imaging that we're able to get wholesale costs for our patients when it comes to labs and imaging. So what does that really mean? Well, when you're a member in a DPC practice like ours, say you needed a thyroid check. Well, in an insurance-based system, if you ever look at your EOB, it's called an explanation of bill. Your insurance company will tell you, oh, your thyroid screening test costed like $150. Sometimes it's even higher than that. But we were gracious enough to pay $100 of it. Your portion is $50. Well, I'm here to tell you that thyroid screening test is actually $3.50. And that is what you're paying in my practice. And take that and extrapolate that to whatever lab that comes to your mind. Same with imaging. X-rays are $45. CTs are $250. MRIs are $500. These are the true costs of all of these things. And we're able to extend that to our patients.
That it sounds like a fantasy world, but it is a fantasy that you guys are making reality, because that's amazing. You're actually bringing healthcare to the people and down to their level. And like you said, cutting out that very expensive middleman. And I know that is such irony coming from an insurance broker, but I can tell you that she is 100% accurate in all of that. Being able to go direct and save you that money makes all the difference in the world. Oh my gosh. Yay. And I love that we're getting this information out there, because I do feel like a lot of people, they just don't know. They don't know that it's an option, or they don't think it's a viable or sustainable option. I think they don't realize exactly how much it is you guys do.
That's exactly it. The value proposition and what we're, proposing, it's so much. When you see it in action, you'd be surprised. The funny thing is, when we started, our monthly membership was actually $99. Our own patients told us that it was too low, that they were getting the perception that, oh, there's some sort of a gimmick that we're running, that there's some sort of a catch. So we actually took that feedback and we were like, fine, you guys want us to charge you more? So we increased our price to $109 to appease the perception that there's really no gimmick. Honestly, that's how affordable healthcare can actually be. And to be honest with you, I'm really actually glad that I'm having this conversation with a broker, because we need you. We need health insurance. We need it for catastrophic care. We need it for when, accidents happen, when chemotherapy is needed, when surgeries are needed. That is what insurance was meant for. Just like home insurance or car insurance. You don't use it for HVAC repair or plumbing or electrical repair. It keeps the market competitive. Those vendors have to compete with each other for value, for money, for cost, right? So that's why it keeps things affordable for people everywhere. Well, take health insurance for that matter. Primary care is your oil change, is your electricity, your HVAC, your plumbing. Pay out of pocket. It'll be more affordable, be more accessible, and save the catastrophic care for, God forbid, if you get hit by a bus.
Yes. And let me tell you, everybody out there, that there are options to catastrophic hospital, accident, all of those things that do not require major medical health insurance. So, and that's a whole separate show. And I know that the good doctor and I could go on and on about all of this.
We could do health shares. We could do all kinds of things.
Yes, that's right. And when when your insurance can cost you 15 or 20 bucks a month and give you that kind of coverage, and then you've got your, primary care provider coming in at $109 a month for unlimited visits, you can't beat that.
Listen to her, folks.
We are here to set the record straight. Awesome. And now, Doctor, before we get into the specifics of your practice, you primarily serve Loudoun County and the surrounding areas, right? But what are your recommendations for our audience as to how they might be able to find a DPC provider in their area? Because we do have people all over the country watching.
No, that's a great question too. We are ourselves, Mosaic Theory M.D., we're available to the Loudoun County and actually a good part of Fairfax County too. And keep in mind, location is just that, a location. Once we've established care with our patients, we're just a phone call away. We do telehealth. Everything is included in the membership. So if I know you and I can get on a video call with you and you're in Maryland, that we can do that. That's not a problem at all. You don't have to worry about coming into the practice each and every time. If you need a refill, I don't need you here because my practice is not numbers based anymore, right? So if you need that refill, phone call, text, or video, we're good. Let's say you're in Florida or you're in Nebraska or whatever the state might be. Where's Katie? Katie again?
Yes, Katie's in Colorado.
Colorado. Okay. Say you're in Colorado. dpcalliance.org. You go to this website and you'll find a mapper that has all the direct primary care practices in the country that are, they try to keep up with it, but that's the directory of all the direct primary care practices. These people are doctors just like myself that were tired of the traditional system and they're trying to do something different. And DPC Alliance is actually a alliance of all of these physicians that are like-minded. And it's a whole movement. The direct primary care is a whole movement of primary care to change things so that we can actually make care accessible and affordable for people.
That's awesome. And that is such great information. I actually already put it in the chat for everybody, dpcalliance.org. Hopefully I heard you correctly and wrote it down correctly. If not, everybody, I will fix it.
Yeah.
That's great information, Doctor. Thank you so much. So now I would like to talk a little bit specifically about your business. And I know that you mentioned that it's $109 a month for the membership. Are there any other costs associated with becoming a patient at your practice?
Yeah, there is a one-time enrollment fee of $99. A lot of times on case-by-case basis, we do waive it. We don't want anything to be a hindrance in people experiencing great care and getting access to it. A lot of times we've actually run promotions where, say, if you sign up by the end of X amount a month or whatever, no enrollment fee. But that enrollment fee usually is there. It's $99 a month, or $99 one time. It sets up patient, records that we have to get from other places, researching their background and whatnot. So it protects us in that way. But there's plenty of times where we just waived it. And you know why we can do that? Because we own the practice. We are the local independent doctors that own the practice, and not some suit in the C-suite telling me what I can and cannot do. So that's the beauty of going with an independent doctor. Other than that, it's just the $109 a month. It can be kicked up to $113 if you use your credit card. It's just the processing fees that we tack on. Other than that, there's no other fees. You will never get a surprise bill from us. If there's labs that need to leave the practice to go to the laboratory to get tested, those are all wholesale prices that we actually tell you before we even draw your blood. Oh, and also, yeah. And also the lab draws are done at the practice too. No extra charge either, all included in the membership. Same thing with pathology, that if, say, your pap smear sample has to be sent out, that you only pay for the pathology at wholesale cost of, I believe it's $60. And the pap smear itself, the procedure itself, is included in the membership. So we try to be as transparent and truly be transparent. None of this gimmicky stuff that I'm sure you're noticing that's going on with the hospitals, that, oh yeah, we listed our price. We listed what the medication prices are. No,
Sure you did.
Right.
A fully transparent medical practice. That's
Absolutely.
Crazy. You're blowing people's minds right now. And I got to say, even that enrollment fee, everybody is super reasonable. We've dealt with other DPC providers around the country, and some of them are much more comprehensive than that. So Mosaic Theory is definitely doing their due diligence and keeping everything super reasonable for you.
To be honest with you, our goal is to get to the point where we won't need the enrollment fee. That our goal is to get to the point where we can actually donate 10% of our practice. This means providing medical care for a person 0 to 100, nothing out of their pocket. 10% of that practice of ours. So that's our goal. Once we get to that, we've achieved what we wanted to achieve. And then we want to be those town docs that are here for 20, 30 years to come.
Oh my gosh, and I'm sure you will be. I can see you guys going for as long as you desire to practice, and people mourning when you're done. So now I have to ask real quick, do you guys also do pediatrics, or are you going to be 18 plus?
We're going to be 16 plus. So
16 plus. Okay.
Yeah. So an internist can reliably take care of anybody past puberty. So 16 is our comfort. But yes, technically speaking, most internists see 18 and up. That's just adult care. And in our country, 18 is, considered an adult. But for ourselves, it's 16 and up. We are hoping to expand and get somebody that might be a pediatrician or a family physician to add to our practice. But as we grow, that would be the first thing that we do. Right now, we just do 16 and up.
Perfect. Thank you so much. And does anybody coming to see you, do they need any kind of insurance?
They don't. We honestly don't care if you have insurance or not. That we don't bill it at all here. People that have insurance, they'll go ahead and use it for labs and imaging if, say, they've met their deductible. But then I have people that have insurance, but they have a super high deductible. So that means until they meet that amount, and usually it's, and you'd probably know this, $2,000, $3,000, $4,000. Once they've met that out of pocket, only then the insurance kicks in. So that means anytime they go to the doctor's office, anytime they have imaging, lab, whatever, it's money out of the pocket. And it's cost, that's the insurance cost, not the cost that's wholesale that you would get from my practice. So it just makes sense that if you're going to pay out of pocket anyway, why not choose a cheaper option and a better high value option?
There you go. That's right. It's not just less expensive, but you're getting the better value, more bang for your buck. Absolutely.
Yep.
Okay. So now, let's say that, well, okay. So as we discussed, I'm an insurance broker.
Yeah.
And I like to help small businesses offer benefits. And I know that you guys also help local small businesses and business owners. You better listen up because she's going to drop another knowledge bomb on you. Tell everybody how you do that.
So basically what I've described for individuals, it lends itself very well to small businesses too. So small businesses, especially, local trade businesses, restaurants, bars, sometimes even trade businesses such as like plumbing or electricity or whatever you may have, utilities, things of that nature. They're small enough companies that they're not able to provide healthcare benefits to their employees. But here's the thing, and as a broker, you'd probably agree, most of what people need as far as health is primary care. 80 to 90% of what you would ever need in your life on average is primary care. So if you as a small business can hire my practice to provide medical care to your employees, you're essentially giving them a high value medical care that they can utilize that keeps them out of hospitals, ERs, or urgent care. It's like concierge level of care, but affordable.
Yes, absolutely. And if you get somebody who is as amazing as Dr. Khan and her partner at Mosaic Theory, they may even have an insurance broker connection where you can offer at no cost to your business, accident, hospital, critical care, any type of catastrophic insurance to help your employees if and when they need something beyond that primary care.
Exactly. I mean, you can't get any better than that. If you can afford that catastrophic on top of it, great. It's still a lot cheaper and it gives you more bang for your buck than anything out there will. But say you're strapped for cash and you can't, just having our practice alone will give your employees actual health care. Now, you can either, sponsor the entire membership for them. You can sponsor 50% of it. You can sponsor 25% of it. You can have it be a voluntary benefit. I mean, there's so many customizations you can do.
Absolutely. So business owners, listen up, because I can tell you that that is a huge employee attraction and retention opportunity for you to be able to say that this is something that you provide to your employees.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So now the last question that I've got for you is, do you have any advice for other medical professionals, doctors, PAs, whoever it may be, looking to break into the DPC business? Because I do think it's definitely something that I would like to see become more prolific.
Yeah. No, and there's actually, so Medicare is actually trialing it. They are paying certain practices that qualified for the program a monthly fee for their Medicare patients, and trialing it out to see if what the outcomes were and how much better that they're being taken care of. So I'm really hoping that one of these days, probably later rather than sooner, how the government works at snail pace, but I'm really hopeful to see what those numbers are going to look like, and then more and more people are actually going to understand how great the system is. But to go back to your question, that for clinicians that want to come into this space, first of all, welcome, come on in. I implore you to do so. Not only will you be happier doing actual medicine, but your patients will thank you. But I didn't get here on my own, obviously, either. I obviously had help. I had mentorship. DPC Alliance is actually one of the biggest and most awesomest group of physicians that you'd ever find it anywhere. There's 3 in particular that actually have publications that really help all of these physicians trying to get into this space. Paul Thomas is one of the DPC physicians. I believe he's out in Detroit. And he wrote a book called Startup DPC. I have it on iPad. But I'm more of a actual book kind of a girl. So the other ones I actually have, I always have it sitting right here. The second one is Direct Primary Care by Douglas Farago. He's another physician out in Forest, Virginia, actually. And then I have this other book by Dr. Shane Purcell that he talks about direct primary care and employers involved in direct primary care too. So
can you read that title out loud? It was hard to see on the screen.
Magic, Pixie Dust, and Miracles, a guide for direct primary care and employers. So these three guys have been so helpful with their books, and there's tons of other people out there that have made such a difference in our lives as far as mentorship and helping us become who we are and get to where we are. But I would start reading those three books and try to understand how this whole thing works and turn your practice into a DPC practice.
That was great advice. Thank you so much. And any physicians or PAs or anybody out there listening, if you're interested in getting into that, listen to what she's got to say. We'll put the titles of the books and their authors in the comments so you can check those out. If you've got any questions, Doctor may not mind if you reach out to her and ask. And so finally, how can everybody find you, whether they want to come visit you at the office or maybe on social or the web? How can people find you?
Absolutely. They can find us on our website, www.mosaictheorymd.com. That's the main website that we have. Our Facebook handle is at Mosaic Theory MD. Our Instagram handle is the same thing, Mosaic Theory MD. But the best part of all of this is because we're so transparent, because we believe in what we're doing, we actually do free meet and greets for people. So they can just call our office, schedule a meet and greet. They not only get to come out and see our facility, but they actually get to meet with either Dr. Sherry or myself to answer questions. Hey, let me see, is this really, pie in the sky kind of dream? Or can you actually show me, what you're all about? We don't charge anything for it. We like to have people choose us. I don't think you can do that in the traditional system. You can't go and interview your doctor before you choose them.
Get out of here. You can't interview your doctor. That's crazy. Oh my gosh. Well, and everybody out there, I will put all of that information in the comments for you too, so you can easily find Mosaic Theory and you can get enrolled with them, because that's really what you need to do here. Well, thank you so much, Dr. Khan, for joining me this week. I really enjoyed our conversation, and you definitely dropped the knowledge, because I'm telling you, you're going to make a difference in people's lives all over the place. Thank you so much.
Oh, you're most welcome. Thank you for having me on the show. You actually, it could not have been a better host. That we just meshed so well together, and just learning from you, it's just awesome. Yeah.
Yes, and right back at you. And I hope that you and everybody out there has a wonderful weekend. Happy Friday, everybody. Yeah. If you're on the East Coast, try stay dry. It's humid as heck out here.
Yeah. Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody.